Something wild is happening right now, and nobody's ready for it. The very women who once ruled the dating world with a smile, a glance, and an Instagram post are suddenly losing their power. The rules that used to guarantee attention, affection, and validation, they've stopped working. For the first time, the women who never had to try are meeting men who simply don't care. And that's creating a panic they can't control, because these aren't cold men. They're not broken, damaged, or emotionally unavailable. They're awake. They've stopped chasing, stopped begging for validation, and started living on their own terms. They've realized that female attention isn't currency, it's a choice. And the moment men stopped playing the game, the whole system began to collapse. Watch closely. When a woman who's used to being admired meets a man who doesn't flinch, doesn't notice, doesn't treat her like she's special, you can see it in her eyes. Confusion, frustration, then fear. She's not used to indifference, because when you've built your identity on being desired, someone's disinterest feels like extinction. It starts with silence, the kind of silence that used to feel impossible. For years, women were surrounded by attention like air. Compliments, messages, stares. The world constantly reminded them that they mattered simply for existing. But suddenly, something has shifted. The smiles don't get the same reaction. The jokes don't land. The glances don't pull eyes the way they used to. The men have gone quiet, and for the first time, that silence feels terrifying. Because when you've built your confidence on constant validation, indifference feels like rejection. It's not cruelty, it's clarity. Men are no longer running on autopilot. They've stopped chasing anything that doesn't add value to their lives. The game that once guaranteed women attention no longer works, and the panic is spreading fast. You can see it play out in real life. Picture this. An attractive woman walks into a room expecting eyes to follow. One man doesn't even look up. He's polite, calm, but unmoved. Her instincts kick in. She leans closer, laughs louder, finds excuses to engage. But his energy doesn't shift, and that's when the cracks appear. Confusion first, then irritation, and finally, disbelief. What's wrong with him? She wonders. But nothing's wrong. He just doesn't care. He doesn't see her as a prize to win or a goddess to worship. He sees another human being. For someone used to power, that neutrality feels like punishment. Her entire identity trembles under the weight of something she's never faced before. Indifference. This is the part no one talks about. Many women have never learned what life feels like without male attention. From childhood, approval was automatic. Smile, and you get praised. Cry, and someone comes running. Grow up, add beauty into the mix, and the world opens doors. But when that automatic approval stops coming, it feels like losing oxygen. The tools that once worked, flirtation, charm, emotional cues, suddenly break down. And there's no backup plan. Because what do you do when your entire social playbook depends on reactions that no longer exist? That's where the real panic begins. I saw it myself at a leadership conference. A beautiful woman, confident, and used to being the center of every room, tried to flirt with a successful entrepreneur. He answered kindly, but with the kind of composure that doesn't bend. He wasn't cold, just focused. She laughed, touched his arm, dropped hints that she was single. He nodded, smiled, and went back to his notes. By the third attempt, her energy changed. The sparkle in her eyes shifted to confusion, then anger. Later, I overheard her asking someone, "Is he gay or something?" She couldn't imagine a man not being interested. That's how deep the entitlement runs. It doesn't look like arrogance from the inside. It just feels like the natural order of things. But the moment that order collapses, everything else does too. Because here's the truth. No one wants to say out loud. Many women genuinely believe male attention is guaranteed. They think it's a given, not a gift. And when that illusion breaks, it feels like losing gravity. Suddenly they're in a world where effort matters, personality matters, contribution matters, and that's new territory. The metaphor is simple. It's like someone who's lived off a trust fund suddenly being told they have to get a job. The confusion isn't about the work itself. It's the shock of realizing they were privileged all along. Entitlement so deep, it didn't even register as entitlement until it was gone. Now, everywhere you look, that realization is spreading. On social media, in therapy rooms, in relationships that used to feel stable. Women are calling men distant, cold, broken, because those men no longer perform the roles they expect. The chase, the worship, the overinvestment, it's fading. And the irony? Men aren't angry. They're not bitter. They're just done. They've stopped negotiating for validation. They're focused on purpose, peace, and progress. They've realized they don't need to earn approval from people who offer nothing back. That's what makes this moment so powerful. It's not rebellion. It's realignment. The quiet revolution isn't loud or violent. It's calm, grounded, and unbothered. And that calm is shaking the foundation of a culture built on attention. The panic you're seeing online, the endless posts, the "where are all the real men" questions, the accusations of emotional unavailability. It's not about love. It's about control. The loss of control over male validation is the loss of a power source. And for the first time, men have unplugged. The silence isn't rejection, it's liberation. And the louder the panic grows, the clearer it becomes. The era of automatic attention is over. The silence wasn't supposed to last this long. At first, women thought it was a phase. Maybe men were just distracted. Maybe they were hurt. Maybe the algorithm was off. But weeks turned into months, and the silence kept spreading. The attention economy was collapsing, one ignored selfie at a time. For years, validation was a renewable resource. Smile, post, receive dopamine, repeat. It was simple, predictable, addictive. But now, the likes are slowing down, the comments are dry, and the men who used to compete for attention have logged out. Literally. They're building businesses, hitting the gym, playing guitar, traveling with friends. The audience disappeared. And without that constant applause, the stage suddenly feels empty. What we're watching isn't heartbreak, it's withdrawal. The world's most powerful social drug, male validation, has been cut off cold turkey. And the reaction is exactly what you'd expect from any addict in detox. Denial, anger, bargaining, depression. Except this time, the substance isn't chemical, it's attention. Not rejection, but recalibration. Not cruelty, but consequence. Men didn't vanish to punish women. They just stopped feeding a system that drained them. The rules changed quietly, and those who benefited most didn't get the memo. I remember watching it unfold in real time. A woman I knew started posting more and more revealing photos after her breakup. At first, soft smiles, then sultry glances, then full-on thirst traps. She was chasing a ghost. Her ex wasn't reacting. Not a like, not a view. Finally, she messaged him. "Did you see my posts?" His reply was short. "I don't follow you anymore." You could feel the panic through the screen. That moment wasn't about love, it was about leverage. Her favorite tool, attention, was gone. She had spent years being rewarded for visibility, and suddenly visibility meant nothing. Here's the twist. Men aren't becoming crueler, they're becoming clearer. They've realized that indifference is power. Not the kind of power that dominates others, but the kind that protects peace. When you stop reacting, manipulation stops working. And when manipulation stops working, panic begins. Across social media, the patterns are identical. Women complain that men are emotionally unavailable, but what they mean is, men won't play the validation game anymore. They say dating is impossible, but what they mean is, they can't coast on their looks anymore. They call men broken, but what they're really seeing is men who are finally balanced. The shift isn't emotional, it's evolutionary. Men have learned that validation is a transaction, and they no longer want to pay the price. Every like, every compliment, every pursuit used to buy temporary approval. Now, they invest that energy elsewhere, into skills, into self-worth, into peace. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Many women never had to develop alternative value systems. Charm was currency, beauty was status, attention was oxygen. But the moment that oxygen runs out, you find out what's underneath the surface. And for a lot of people, it's nothing but panic. I once had a client who told me his girlfriend broke down after he stopped planning elaborate dates. He wasn't being cold. He was mirroring her energy. For months, she'd been distant, contributing nothing. When he stopped overcompensating, she called him emotionally unavailable. But he wasn't unavailable. He was reciprocal. And reciprocity felt like neglect to someone who was used to excess. That's the heart of this panic. Not that men have changed, but that they've stopped playing the savior. For years, women claimed they didn't need men, yet demanded men act like they did. They said, "We want equality," but expected preferential treatment. Now, when men take those words seriously and act accordingly, it's labeled as detachment. Not emotional distance, but emotional discipline. Not avoidance, but awareness. The refusal to overextend isn't coldness, it's clarity. You can sense the frustration building. The narratives are breaking. The emotional economy is crashing. Women are realizing that attention is no longer guaranteed. And once that realization hits, the anxiety sets in. Because power built on attention evaporates the second that attention disappears. Men aren't the villains of this story. They're the first ones to walk away from a rigged game. They've realized their energy has value. Their peace has value. Their attention has value. And the moment they stopped giving it away for free, the panic began. The silence that started as confusion is becoming global now. It's visible in every tweet, every post, every late night, "Where are all the good men?" rant. It's the sound of a generation waking up to a truth no one prepared them for. Attention is earned, not owed. And that's the real shockwave of this new era. Not that men stopped chasing, but that women never learned how to be worth chasing once the chase stopped. The balance has flipped. For decades, women were told they were the prize, that men should be grateful for any bit of their attention. That showing interest made a man weak. But now, something new is happening. Men have stopped playing that script. They've built lives so full, so complete, that female validation barely registers anymore. And that's the true crisis no one wants to admit. The panic isn't about love, it's about status. It's about realizing that attention isn't guaranteed anymore. The spotlight has shifted, and it's blinding. Because when you've lived your whole life being chased, the moment you have to chase back feels like humiliation. Not loss of attraction, but loss of leverage. Not heartbreak, but ego shock. Modern dating has turned into a social market, and the prices have changed. Men's value tends to appreciate experience, confidence, stability. Women's traditional currency, youth, beauty, social validation, depreciates with time. It's not cruel, it's economics. The same men who were invisible at 25 are thriving at 30. The same women who were adored at 25 are now asking, where did all the good men go? They didn't vanish. They leveled up. They stopped trying to impress people who didn't value them and became the very men they were once rejected for not being. The accountant is now a CFO. The gamer is now a software CEO. The quiet teacher is now a school principal with options. The panic comes when women realize the men they ignored are no longer available and no longer interested. It's not revenge, it's rotation. The cycle of value just turned, and for the first time, men are holding the cards. I call this the competition panic. It's the moment women realize they're not just competing with each other, they're competing with peace, with solitude, with men who would rather be alone than drained. That's a battle no manipulation can win. A friend of mine once showed me 2 dating app profiles. One woman wrote, "Don't waste my time. I know my worth." The other wrote, "I love to cook, read, and travel. I'm looking for a teammate to build with." Guess who he picked? Not the one demanding value, but the one offering it. That's the new reality. Men aren't impressed by entitlement anymore. They're attracted to peace. Not beauty alone, but warmth. Not independence alone, but compatibility. And that's what's driving the current collapse of modern dating culture. Because while some women double down on demands, men should pay, men should pursue, men should prove, others are quietly adapting. They're becoming pleasant, grateful, collaborative. They're winning, and the contrast is brutal. Not feminism failing, but entitlement failing. Not men disappearing, but standards reappearing. Social media can't hide it. Every "where have all the real men gone" post is followed by another woman commenting, "Mine's at home. I treat him well." The outrage isn't about shortage, it's about competition. The rules of the game changed, and those who relied on automatic advantage are falling behind. Meanwhile, men are noticing patterns. They see the sudden urgency from women who once mocked commitment now begging for stability. They see the shift from "I don't need a man" to "I can't find a good one." And they're not buying the rebrand. Because when a man knows he's plan B, it doesn't matter how sweet the apology sounds. This panic isn't global by accident. It's systemic. The entire dating culture was built on an asymmetry. Men chase, women choose. Now, men choose too. And the system can't handle equality when it's real. Because real equality means accountability. It means if men have to earn desire through discipline and purpose, women have to earn respect through character and contribution. That's not misogyny. It's symmetry. You can feel the cultural tremor. The tone online is shifting. The mockery of nice guys is fading, replaced by regret posts, apology videos, and "I didn't know what I had until he left" confessions. The irony is poetic. The very men once dismissed for being boring are now the ones every woman wants. But they've moved on. Not bitterness, but boundaries. Not rejection, but redirection. That's the masculine frame. Stable, selective, self-contained. The man who doesn't need validation can't be controlled. You can't guilt-trip someone who feels no guilt. You can't seduce a man who already feels full. And that's why the panic keeps growing. Because this isn't just about relationships anymore. It's about power. The kind of power that comes when men stop chasing illusions and start living in truth. The panic is spreading faster than anyone expected. You can see it in every post, every late-night rant, every therapy session that starts with, "Why don't men try anymore?" What's really happening isn't emotional breakdown. It's a reality reset. For the first time, women are colliding with truths that men have lived with forever. Life has rules, attraction has limits, and time always collects its debts. Not cruelty, but consequence. Not oppression, but order. The truth is brutally simple. Men's value compounds, women's value decays if it relies solely on beauty. A man at 35 is peaking in power, confidence, and resources. A woman at 30 is often panicking because the attention that once followed her everywhere has thinned. It's not biology's revenge, it's biology's math. Men gain distinction, women lose visibility. He becomes a silver fox. She becomes invisible in rooms where she once ruled. It's unfair, yes, but it's real, and reality doesn't care how we feel about it. That's why the panic feels existential, because the entire illusion of modern empowerment was built on temporary leverage, youth, desirability, and social media validation. But that leverage has an expiration date, and when it runs out, many realize they never built anything real to replace it. I've seen it play out in real life. Women who spent their 20s finding themselves suddenly rush to settle down. After years of chasing excitement, they crave stability. But stability requires reciprocity, and reciprocity feels foreign when you've been used to being pursued. They're not looking for love. They're looking for safety. Not partnership, but provision. Yet here's the catch. Traditional provision requires traditional exchange. You can't demand a 1950s husband while living like a 2025 influencer. You can't expect chivalry while mocking masculinity. The math doesn't balance. The men who provide have options now, and they're choosing appreciation over attitude. Not dominance, but discernment. Not patriarchy, but preference. That's the new filter. A successful man no longer needs validation from proximity to beauty. He's seen too much. He knows peace has more value than passion. He knows a warm presence beats a dramatic personality. And when he finds it, often overseas or in smaller circles, he doesn't come back. I once knew a client, a self-made millionaire. After years of dating chaos, he met a woman abroad who treated him with respect, calm, and gratitude. She wasn't flashy, she wasn't loud, but she added peace to his life instead of draining it. When his exes found out, they raged. He couldn't handle a strong woman. No, he simply chose peace over performance. That's the real twist. Men aren't running away from strong women. They're running toward balanced ones. Not weakness, but softness. Not submission, but synergy. Meanwhile, back home, collaboration among women is fracturing. The same voices that once shouted sisterhood are now whispering competition. Because when male attention becomes scarce, the unity vanishes. You see it online. Former friends undercutting each other, criticizing looks, fighting for validation. The game of solidarity collapses the moment scarcity appears. It's not betrayal, it's exposure. Under pressure, people reveal what's real. The sisterhood was never about support. It was about shared advantage. When that advantage disappears, everyone scrambles for themselves. And that's when the panic turns primal. Women who once mocked pick-me behavior are suddenly learning how to cook, soften their tone, and talk about feminine energy. The irony is cinematic, not evolution, but adaptation under pressure. Not enlightenment, but survival. Because deep down, they know the truth. Men aren't becoming harder to find. They're just harder to manipulate. The good men never disappeared. They simply stopped performing for free. You can feel the tension tightening in modern culture. The narratives that once defined dating, power, and gender are cracking. The feminist promise of having it all was always conditional. You can have a career, or a family, or freedom, but not all three at full capacity. Life demands trade-offs. Men learn this in their 20s. Women are learning it in their 30s. Not inequality, but equilibrium. Not punishment, but parity. And the ones who adapt, who accept reality without resentment, are thriving. They don't panic because they've shifted focus from power to partnership, from image to value. These women aren't losing, they're evolving. But for everyone still clinging to illusion, the crash will only get louder. Because the market doesn't lie. The attention economy is correcting itself. The people who depended on inflation, false promises, fake independence, easy validation, are watching their stock plummet. And those who built real value are watching theirs rise. This isn't misogyny. This is mathematics. The emotional economy is finally balancing, and for the first time in decades, reality has entered the chat. The silence that once felt temporary has become permanent. The men aren't coming back to the old game. They've outgrown it. The same men who once begged for attention now build empires, communities, and peace. They've realized something radical. Validation is not fulfillment. Approval is not connection. Not detachment, but discipline. Not bitterness, but balance. This new generation of men isn't angry. They're aware. They've learned to redirect their energy from chasing others to conquering themselves. Every heartbreak, every false accusation, every manipulation became a lesson in control. Every time they cared too much, they were being trained to care less. And now, they've mastered indifference. That's what scares the system the most. Because when a man stops being controlled by approval, he becomes uncontrollable. You can't guilt him. You can't shame him. You can't manipulate someone who has learned to walk away. And that's why the panic isn't just emotional. It's systemic. The entire economy of female validation is collapsing because men stopped investing. Not revenge, but recalibration. Not misogyny, but maturity. Everywhere you look, the shift is obvious. Men are investing in fitness, finance, freedom. They're finding happiness in hobbies, purpose, and brotherhood instead of drama. They're building what I call the parallel economy of attention, where energy flows toward growth, not games. And while some women call this toxic or emotionally unavailable, it's simply evolution. The pendulum is swinging back toward equilibrium. The same indifference that once looked cruel now looks like clarity. The same silence that once felt cold now sounds like peace. Meanwhile, women are facing the first true consequences of modern delusion. For years, culture told them they could have it all. Career, power, youth, endless options. But the fine print was missing. You can have it all, Yes, but not all at once, and not forever. Biology, psychology, and reality always demand balance. When you choose one thing, you lose another. Men learned that truth early. Women are learning it late. And the learning curve is steep. The panic that fills the internet isn't about bad men. It's about unmet expectations. The shock of realizing that the game only worked because men kept playing. And now, they've stopped showing up to the field. Not abandonment, but awakening. Not rejection, but reflection. For the first time, women are being asked to bring more than beauty, to offer more than presence, to contribute peace, not chaos, to build, not drain, to connect through value, not demand it by default. And the women who adapt are already winning. They're not panicking because they're too busy partnering with quality men, building strong families, and living balanced lives. They're not arguing online. They're thriving offline. They've learned that femininity is not weakness, it's leverage, the power of calm in a world addicted to noise. But for those still fighting reality, clinging to entitlement, chasing validation, and blaming men for leaving, the crash will continue. Because the market always corrects, not cruelty, but correction. Not punishment, but perspective. This entire shift, this so-called male indifference era, isn't the end of connection. It's the rebirth of it. The first real opportunity for relationships built on truth, not manipulation. For partnerships grounded in respect, not expectation. And it starts with honesty. The kind that hurts before it heals. The kind that burns illusions so reality can grow. Men have discovered that peace is more valuable than passion. That standards are not sexism. That indifference isn't cold, it's controlled. They're not walking away from women. They're walking away from dysfunction. And that's the plot twist no one saw coming. Because this entire panic isn't about men turning their backs on women. It's about men turning their faces toward themselves, toward purpose, toward meaning. The panic you're seeing now is just the sound of an old system dying, the noise of illusions collapsing, the echo of entitlement meeting accountability. Not the end of love, but the beginning of something real.